Coach, it seemed like your group was unable to find its offensive rhythm, coming out in the third quarter, and eventually it slipped over into the defensive end. What were you seeing after halftime against them?
That's exactly what it was. I think we let our offense impact our defense. That's not really like us. It's been, first time that's happened in a while. So I really think that, we shake this one off. We'll look at it, give Indiana a ton of credit the way they came out and played with that level of energy. But again, we have to shake this one off because we got a road trip coming up.
When you guys did shoot 6 for 29 on three, just how tough is it to contain the Pacers' offense when they're, getting out transition the way they were after those misses?
And that was a big portion of it. Some of those shots, the early shots in the offense led to their leak outs in the break. Again, we talked about being able to hold them in the half court, and part of being able to keep them in the half court is us being able to execute and obviously knock shots down, going 6 for 29 from three, and then obviously that some of those missed layups as well, costed and led to the break. So, it allowed to fuel their offense by them, with the throw-aheads and early leak outs.
You mentioned the 6 for 29 3-point shooting. What do you think was the biggest struggle behind, getting the three ball to knock down tonight?
Obviously have to go back and look at the film, but just, making or missing. I think we got a bunch of open looks. We had a chance to put it to 2 with a wide open three, and it didn't go down. And so those situations you have to look at, just being able to, say we got to hang our hat on the defensive end, but we allowed some of the shots being missed to take its toll on our defense.
Coach Wendell's obviously coming off of that high from Thursday night, that game winner, and then came into this one with those 3 quick fouls and went 1 of 11 from the field. What do you think your conversation is going to be like? What, as a coach, would you advise him for someone that goes from such a high to such a low in such a short period of time?
That's a great question, and I say the same thing that we'll say to all of our guys. Stay the same. Wins or losses, you stay the same. You got to figure out what you can do better, but you don't get too high in wins and you don't get too low in losses. You go back, look at the film, you study it, you help them understand where we can get better, and then you move on to the next game. But you're never as good as you think you are in your wins, and never as bad as you are in your losses. You just got to stay the same and come back to work.
Jonathan was ruled out about an hour before tip-off. Just what led to that?
Just a little pain, I think. Obviously just monitoring him as we continue to go through.
And you tested a different rotation with Franz being between Franz and Paolo. Paolo came out first, and then Franz was stuck with the first team. And just what led to that?
You mean why did I go to my sub pattern that I went to?
Yeah, you changed
differently.
Yeah, differently. Yes.
Different teams call for different lineups, and I think that the way that we have to look at the way they're played, they're a small team, so there was different times that we could have different advantage, and sometimes if a guy is rolling, you let them continue to go.
Is that pattern with with Franz coming out late and then Paolo being the first one out something you think you'll continue to test out or try more as the season goes on?
I think different teams cause for different lineups, and so I think at the end of the day, we'll just continue to look at what it looks like for that team and see if somebody has it going and we want to look at it a different way, then we'll just continue to do that.
Coach, first chance to see Goga tonight. What did you think of his minutes?
I thought he was really good. I thought his energy was good. I thought, his toughness, obviously going against his old team, his confidence level was great, being able to step into his shot. So I think just giving him a look, I thought was really good, and I think he performed well in that role.
In regards to the lineup, it seems pretty obvious that you were trying to keep at least Paolo or Franz on the floor at all times. Was that a concerted effort for you tonight, or is that something it was just by, like you mentioned, just happenstance of the game?
To Kobe's, point, I really think that it's just always balancing out the type of team that you're playing. And the last time we played them, there was a lot of advantages for us inside. And I think, Paolo provided that. And obviously with Wendell getting into foul trouble, that also changed the way that the sub pattern went. So now there was a possibility to play Paolo maybe at the 5 and run a little bit longer, and then Franz coming back in. But again, to that point, it's part of what we see in the game, the matchup that we have, and the different teams that we're playing. Thank you, guys.
Franz, it seemed like you guys struggled to find your offensive rhythm in the second half, and that eventually trickled over into the defense. What were you seeing, starting in the second half, especially?
Yeah, probably a little bit of bad execution, a couple early shots where we didn't move the ball from side to side as much as we want to. And then, then like you said, I think something happened that we can't let happen. That after a couple of shots being missed or us not getting what we want, we let it affect how we play on the other end, and that's when they made that run.
All right, so this question goes for either of you guys. So it seems a coach out there is trying to put a more concerted effort of leaving one of you guys in throughout the game at least to kind of keep the offense flowing. Can you guys say anything about that and how that's kind of flowing within the flow of the offense?
Honestly, I think today it was part of that was J.I. being out, and the rotation was a little different. You gotta ask coach if that was his thinking behind. I think we got a lot of good players, and I think in general, I think we got no matter who's out there, I think we got a chance of moving the ball and then getting good shots. I think me and Paolo were both trying to be really aggressive when we were out there. But like I said, I think we got so many good players. It doesn't matter too much who's out there.
Paolo and Franz, this is for both of you guys. Coach Mose did try out a different substitution pattern. Paolo, you played with more of the second unit. Franz, you had a longer first quarter stint and third quarter stint. Just what was that like for both you guys in that adjustment?
It wasn't. It didn't feel too different. Obviously, I think switching it up a little bit. Him playing most of the first and third, and then me coming in and coming back. Just gives us a different look, but I didn't notice much of a difference in terms of, the way I played or he played. I felt like it was more, the same.
Yeah, I agree. I think I don't think it was like the rosters out there today or our substitution pattern. I think it was our execution, and like I said before, us not getting back and letting bad offense affect defense.
So what was the biggest struggle with the three ball tonight? You guys shot only 6 for 29 as a unit. What do you think you can improve on going on to the next game?
Just didn't go in.
We've got about 20 games left in the season, guys, and you play a game tonight with the Pacers, very similar in the standings to you guys. Do you feel like there's an added sense of urgency for these last 20 or so games, or is it kind of just business as usual?
It's always a sense of urgency, when you have a chance to make or get a play-in spot or playoff spot. So, yeah, we've talked about it as a team. So, it's definitely, in the back of our minds.
Appreciate it.